And then I'll be, when everybody will be here, I'm going to introduce them as well. Shivani ma'am, good to see you. Good to have you here. I'm so super excited today.
Thank you so much, Dimple. It's my pleasure.
And I'm delighted that people like you, because you know it's very important to have such a platform where we all are united, we all are together. What I feel is I am right now sitting here in this session. The purpose, exactly purpose of having this session is not to speak against anyone. I have not organized this session to speak against anyone, whether it's been parents or our school members or the teachers. It's just that we have to be together, and together we can solve and find a solution to the problem which we all are facing. I think it's a problem of school people as well, the management and the parents and teachers, of course. So together we
Yes,
are
I
going to
completely,
find a solution to it. I'm pretty sure.
absolutely. And I see you, I mean, like, it feels so great to see you, growing like this as a person. And of course, I heard a lot from my teachers about the sessions that you took with them. So they were
Thank
really
you.
wonderful. They were really praising you a lot. So you've come a long way, and all the very best for your future too.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You
I
know,
and I feel, yes, of course I
yeah,
am
it feels
growing
so
as a
great.
person.
It feels so great when you see your people flourishing and growing, no? So it's like a blessing to me too, not just to you.
Definitely, ma'am. So I am humbled and obliged that people like you and Rupali, ma'am, and everyone. It's not about any designation, but you know, I have been trained under you all. So I am privileged today and honored that you all feel that this session will exactly, which will actually help each one of us to raise the bar, and at the same time to transform the education system which is required right now.
Yeah, that's true. And thanks to, I mean, like, of course, this is a very unfortunate thing that the pandemic has occurred. But then the fortunate part is that we are getting connected, which we would have
Yes.
never got connected
Yes, it's
like
been
this, as
years.
in we are attending so many webinars wherein we are having people from all other parts, not only India, but across the globe. So that's
Yes.
something, we are sharing our best practices. Initially, every school was doing things and was keeping it confined to themselves. So, but now with the pandemic thing, when the webinars are being organized, everybody is sharing their best practices. So it has become a global community.
Global.
That is
Exactly.
something that has come up as a blessing for the education specifically.
Yes. Earlier, everyone was just confined to their own route, their school, their pedagogy, their system of education. Now we are actually able to visualize and, you know, look for different parameters in which other schools are working. So we are getting better knowledge and better techniques to upgrade ourselves. Definitely.
Absolutely,
Definitely,
absolutely.
ma'am. And you have been part of so many webinars also. So you are also enriching yourself with those.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything that is new.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I have told everyone to write their questions, what all queries they have in their mind, what is struggling or what is coming to their mind right now, what solution they are looking for, what is a problem exactly, what they feel, what is a problem. So we'll be having parents also. Few parents have already joined, few teachers are there, and we have head of departments as well. So I am going to ask questions, like I'm going to ask few of them to raise their concern, and we all are going to together try to.
Because we've been together for some time. So I learned a lot from them, though it was a very, very brief, interaction. That it was for a very brief time that we were together, but still, they have influenced me. So please convey my greetings to Rupali ma'am and Shivani ma'am. It's a pleasure to have them here on the same platform.
Same here, Radhika ma'am. The same gesture even I would like to extend to Rupali ma'am and Shivani ma'am. And it's such a great feeling to be a part of, in the same platform. And we miss you badly. You are always welcome back to our organization.
Thank you so much, Radhika and Meera. It was really wonderful
And
to have you people and to continue to have you in our lives.
Thank
I
you.
was just going through Shivani ma'am. I was just going through GD Goenka's website, and I'm so proud to see your picture as a principal over there. And I showed it to all my family members. See Shivani ma'am sitting as a principal. Okay, and amazing journey indeed.
Yes, it definitely has been an amazing journey with all of you being there as a support. You've been as a spine to me. And yes, I've really learned a lot from you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. And the respect is mutual. Actually, the feeling is mutual. Actually.
Good
Definitely.
evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Radhika, Meera, and everyone out there. It was truly a very enriching experience that I had with all of you. And Dwarka 16B, as I always say, will always be very close to my heart. And good evening to Shivani also. Shivani, though with you, I had a very little association for a very short span of time. But yes, some people do leave an impact, and you are one of them. So I always remember you on a very, very high note. And thanks to Dimple for making this happen. And I'm feeling so nostalgic right now to be, connected to all over again. So great going. So continue, please.
Thank you so much, Rupali ma'am. I'm really humbled. You've really spoken so high of me. Though, of course, yes, you very rightly said that some people leave a mark, and so have you. The other day, I was talking to Sushant, and he was making a mention of you, and we were remembering you very fondly. So, yes, people like you leave mark on the minds and the hearts of people. Definitely. Good to see you. Good to have you. Thank you, Dimple.
Thank you, ma'am. So we are starting with the session now. The first question which has come up is, how will the resumption of educational activities be organized in elementary and secondary school? So although this pandemic is not over yet, and even if the government starts and take the action of opening the school, so what exactly our action would be towards the elementary students or elementary school which we are going to start running? Do you think it should start? Do you think we need to find some some tax or some alignments has to be made which will help us to make the school run in a way that we were doing it earlier? So you think there is a possibility of doing it?
So Dimple, I would like to pitch in here, and I would like to state the schools would be the last ones to be open. Because for each one of us, I think the health and safety concerns of children are paramount. And we would definitely like to go with the blended approach of teaching. There is a lot of difference that is going to be there for elementary education and for the secondary education. The students who are very young learn in a different way, and the students who are grown-ups, they learn in a different way. So the pedagogy changes, right? A lot of activities are supposed to be done with the students who are in the pre-primary or the primary classes. So of course the arrangements need to be made. I think kudos to all the teachers, the teaching faculties who overnight switched over from the physical mode to the virtual mode. And they have taken up all the challenges. They have seen, people like you have started training the faculties. Otherwise, also those who are not taking the trainings, they are upskilling themselves. They are updating themselves in terms of the technology. Yes. People are exploring a lot of tools that are available. So if I talk about initially, maybe the first week or the first 10 days, 15 days, the teachers were using Zoom only as a platform. But then later they started exploring more and more and understood that being there only on Zoom would not keep the attention of the child, right? The child would need a lot of interaction. The child would need to be kept active.
Mm-hmm.
So they started incorporating other tools like Edpuzzle, there is Classdojo. So there are so many other tools that are available online, and quite a few of them are available free of cost also. So the teachers have started using them. They've started making portfolios. Now with the scrapping of the board exams for the 12th grades, we very clearly understand that CBSE boards are not that important, you know. Of course, they are important, but they are not as important
right
as the
now
life
health is a
exam.
priority, life is a
Yes,
priority. Yes,
yes, of
correct.
course.
Right.
So hence, I think we need to move to the formative assessments. CCE was a very wonderful structure, but unfortunately, there were reasons for the most important reason that I feel is maybe because we are highly populated, we are densely populated, and the masses could not be trained, right? So training, so hence CC was taken up individually in individual ways. So different schools interpreted it in different way, and hence it was implemented in different ways in different parts of the country, because of which it could not be taken on, and hence the boards came back again. But I think it is high time that we need to come back to assessments which are formative in nature. So I think the learning needs to be child centric. All the tools need to be taken care of. So blended approach with technology being there. Even if the schools open, they need to open in phase manner with the senior ones to come in first. There are countries who are calling the junior ones first and not the senior ones. But then I think with India, the kind of culture that we have, I think we need to be calling the senior ones first. They would be, it would be easier for us to explain them about the importance of social distancing. With the two younger ones, the toddlers and the pre-primary ones, it will be difficult for us to keep them at a distance from each other. You know, they're too young. They want to be social. They want to enjoy together.
Exactly.
So
This
things
is
are
what they
going to
want right now.
Yes. So things are going to be changing. We have already started thinking that we are going to be doing away with the meals that we used to serve till grade 2 in the schools. So we are only going to be asking the parents to send the meals. So such kind of changes are going to happen. Infrastructurally also, we have to bring in a lot of changes. And definitely, I think the schools would take the utmost care to make the schools safe, and the sanitization would be done very regularly. But still, I think the school management will not take the onus, the responsibility of the safety of the children.
Yes.
So it will again be a parent's call, whether the parent wants to send
And
the
parents
child
are
or
not ready. They are not at all ready.
Yes.
They have already shared their views on media, through media and everywhere. But what about government? Like right now, the information which was passed on to us was that the school will remain closed till 31st of July. As per the discussion and as per other areas, what we have come up through, what we are getting to know is it is not the thing is not going to be quickly resolved in a month. So it will be carried forward for another 3 to 4 months.
Not simple, you are right. And see the nature of this virus. The nature of this virus is it is getting mutated. So please, so if it was not getting mutated, at least it wasn't getting mutated, it would have been, since I come from a pharmaceutical background also, I initially started my journey in marketing, with marketing and pharmaceuticals, so I could just really relate to it. So the virology is not very clear at this point, and hence it is becoming difficult for the vaccines also. And also it would take time for any vaccine. It has to undergo a lot of trials. First the animal trials, then the human trials in small numbers, and then of course it has to be larger numbers of human trials, and then only it is going to get US FDA approved and all of those things. So it is going, and then it has to be manufactured in bulk to be made available to people, to masses, right? So it is going to certainly take time. So even if this thing goes, the cases are increasing like anything. So even if it goes till September, the schools are going to be shut. So maybe gradually, see, the government also would not tell you right now that, okay, we are not going to be opening the schools till October and things like that. It is going to create another panic. So they don't want to, they are politically right in their way, you know, so they would not do that. But then eventually, if it is required, they would keep extending the date of opening the school.
But don't you think that if we are extending it like this for a month and then again for 15-20 days, we won't be able to find a proper solution to it? We are just lingering on the problem. That's it. We are not getting the solution. And if we know that, okay, this is a thing of 6 months, so we will try to create or make amendments in our way of education that we have. Or maybe we will totally go online through activities also, and what all things which we are missing right now, we can create something, uh, maybe in a form of tools and techniques which we are coming up. Like now many organizations are coming up with apps which are easy to access for students, and they can just make assessments, because right now MCQs is what we are able to take. We are not able to take subjective assessments of students. So if we know that this is a thing which will happen, which will take another 6 months, so we will at least start working on the solution, and we will try to figure out what can be done if it is for 6 months or 1 year. Right now we are just playing.
I will address this. This is a very pertinent question that you have. See, as I mentioned, that government would not like to create any panic situation, and hence probably that could be one of the reasons that they are not giving a longer tenure as until this time. Okay. But there are solutions. As you are asking that we are able to prepare MCQs. No, we are not only able to prepare MCQs, we are also able to prepare subjective. So we have tools which would help us enable create subjective assessments as well. For example, there is NIIT Guru, there is Genius Corner, there is NTAB. So there are a lot of platforms already available who provide you the assessments platform in the form of subjectives. Okay. So it is just that the schools need to explore them and see what suits them the best. So that is one thing.
That's
Second,
please
secondly, when we talk about the duration, see, one needs to understand, we are all educators and we all need to understand this thing, that the time, even if it is 3 months or 6 months, we need to continue with the blended approach. We will have to go with the asynchronous as well as synchronous teaching and learning. So I think infrastructurally, the schools should not make any amendments at this point in time, but should chalk out the plans. Okay, chalking out the plans and working on it would definitely, the government is not telling you that, okay, you can start, you will have to start from this date. What they're going to be saying is that, as earlier also they mentioned that the schools will be closed till this date, but then they have given us the liberty. They had very clearly stated it in their letters that the school will have, according to their own demographics and the conditions, the school would have the permission of operating it in their own ways. So that kind of a little liberty is going to be there with the school managements. So hence we probably can have that 15-20 days time in hand to do those changes in the school that would be required. But otherwise we should be prepared that we need to continue with the online teaching methodology for times to come, at least for another 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months, yes.
Yes.
So, okay, so I think now we have 17 participants. Thank you so much, Shivani ma'am. Thanks a lot for addressing this issue, and I'm sure we will be able to streamline ourselves, because what we are seeing right now is 6 months down the line, the schools will remain closed. So Harshita is here with us. She's also a teacher from some other school. She is, Harshita, can you please share something about yourself and raise the issue or raise the concern which you have in your mind?
Right. Hello, Shivani ma'am. My name is Harshita.
And we have Rupali ma'am also here. You can ask Rupali ma'am also. She is a principal of a renowned school.
Okay. Hello, ma'am. Hello, everybody out there. Cannot really mention everybody. So, ma'am, I am Harshita and I currently work as an English teacher in Jharkhand. So, here what we majorly feel is, there are lots of disparity between the teachers ourselves. How do we take these online classes ahead? And because everybody is not really very tech savvy. So, telling them how to do this and, actually convincing them is a big issue that we, face. Like people like me, we come from a technical background, and adapting it a piece of cake for us. But at the same time, when people from different backgrounds come together, it becomes very difficult. And above all, we had a few issues in terms of the salary that was being there was this article that came up in a paper wherein there was a possibility of being paid per hour. Don't you think it's unjustified?
Harshita, thank you for putting up that question. I completely understand that there would be people from different backgrounds, and few would be technically strong, but a few would not be techno savvy.
Right.
And hence, of course, we need to upskill ourselves. So there are a lot of platforms that are available which help the teachers to groom themselves in terms of upskilling technically. And I think it is time for us to best utilize that. There are programs from institutes like Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, which is a very renowned institute. So they have come up with new courses. In fact, I have also joined one of the courses on constructivism and ICT learning because I thought that, if I would be knowing something new, then I would be able to, bring it to my teacher's level.
Definitely.
So that's how there are programs, and of course, Dimple very recently conducted 3 days workshop. So such kind of people are available who are doing such kind of workshops at very nominal costs, and I think it is high time for us to upgrade ourselves. So that is one thing. Of course, there are restrictions to it. The side of the coin is, of course, that there are some network issues. There are people who are not having gadgets available with them, and they are making best use of the resources that are available to them. So of course those things are there, and we will have to make do arrangements for them as well. So that is why government is coming up with various initiatives, like they are running programs on the TV channels. So
Yes.
those TV channels are providing those curriculum classes and all, so that the students are taken care of and they are not deprived of the classes. Then they have a platform called Diksha. If you would look
Yes,
at
ma'am.
Diksha platform, it has all energized books also, and it has a lot of material not only for students but also for teachers to upskill themselves. So please
Right.
go on to that website. There is an app, Diksha, and very recently, in fact, today itself, I received a letter which stated the teacher capacity building workshops are going to be starting soon again on through Diksha. So you can have a look at that. Maybe if it is possible for me, I will see that if I can put that circular somehow in the chat. I am not sure whether I will be able to do that or not, but maybe I would share it on WhatsApp with Dimple, and she can probably share it with you all. So that gives the instructions how you can enroll yourself on Diksha platform for various sessions that are going to be helping teachers in upskilling themselves. So there are a lot of platforms available. Government is doing a lot of work in this area. And today only I have received the revised curriculum also. So 30% curriculum has been reduced for classes from 9th to 12th, all subjects. And the portions that have got deleted, we've already received those portions also. So the government is definitely taking us for that.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really good, hearing it from somebody who's got such experience. It becomes very handy, and it's really very informative to hear it from you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shivani ma'am. Thank you so much, Harshita ma'am. And like you said, that yes, teachers are like taking a lot of efforts. They want to know and they want to get themselves upgraded with this new techniques and technology which is coming. I have trained last month around 60 teachers, and I was mesmerized with the response. I was very delighted to see that they were all willing to learn. It's not that they are hesitant or they are reluctant. No, they all are ready to learn something new right now. They are eager to learn all the new technologies and techniques which are coming up in the market nowadays, and they are investing also. Obviously the school is not investing, they are investing. But at the same time, if still they are suffering, if still they feel that they are not being paid off well, and right now recently what we got to know, that now the teachers are going to be paid on hourly basis, or the teachers are going to be on contracts. So these things start hurting everyone. That being a teacher, I've been teaching in education from last 15-20 years. So I feel that when we teach a child, the bond that we develop with that child is something which cannot be paid off, or something which is priceless. At the same time, when we teach them the values we inculcate, the education that we impart, all these things are priceless. We cannot compare those things. But yes, of course, we have to run our house as well. So what do you feel? Here I want to ask Rupali ma'am. Rupali ma'am, what do you feel? Is this something which is technically, if I say, or emotionally, if I say, both ways, is it fine to make teachers vulnerable in this thing when they're trying so hard, they're trying the level best to reach to that level, to learn everything, and within I think few days only they were on that apps, Zoom or Google Meet or Microsoft Team. They were just inclined towards all these things. They did it passionately, but still right now they are suffering. They are not being paid fully. Salaries are getting cut. I'm sure it's happening in most of the schools. If not,
Yes.
then you people are blessed.
No,
So
no, Dimple, it's happening all over. But yes, the magnitude with which it is happening is differing from school to school. Somewhere it is done in a very amicable manner where it is not pinching the teachers much, and they take it in a stride because they can. But somewhere it is taking its toll on the teachers, which is very, very unfortunate. I always say teachers is the simplest community that we have. And they are the fastest to adopt any kind of situation, and they really dwell in that. And like in the past few months, we have seen that how non-computer savvy teacher also has turned up overnight into a complete, tech savvy. So teachers are putting in a lot of efforts, and they are sailing successfully. But it's very, very unfortunate that many management and many schools are downsizing and cutting the pay, and these kind of norms are adopted. So somewhere I think we have to be together. That is one thing, that is the need of the hour. Everyone has his or her own woes, but you cannot fight it individually. You have to be together, and you have to voice any kind of unjust that has happened to you. It has to be together, and one should not be accepting it, just sitting low, and one has to raise voice. At the most, what will happen? The management may deny, or management may turn you off, but you have to raise your voice. You have to put up your opinion before the management, and there can be very decent ways to do that. I'm not saying that you bring a revolution, you revolt against the school, you go against the school, but at the same time, yes, be firm and put across your point to the management in a very amicable and official way. So you have to make, ground for that. You have to take some step, and related to the first question that Ms. Shivani was addressing to, I also feel, Dimple, that for elementary education and also for the middle school, where you are the boss, I mean the teachers are the boss, they can reduce the syllabus in such a way so that the connecting succeeding year or the next class is not impacted heavily, which means if there are topics which are connected to the next academic class, that has to be put a lot of emphasis on. And where you think that there are certain topics it can be done away with, you have to make that list ready with you. Now that few months have already gone, and we don't know that there will be 1 or 2 months also we are going to lose soon. So we have to zero down the topics which we need to deliver in person. So we have to categorize the syllabus, what all can be taught online and the students can be satisfied with, and which are the areas where you need to, grab that as soon as you get the student, maybe for a few days and then the school closes again. So you have to cater to all those, exigencies. You have to, so whenever you get back to the school, even for a short period of time, or maybe in phase-wise manner, the school starts operating, you have to touch those topics which you think that, online teaching was not sufficient. So this way you have to plan the entire syllabus and you need to reduce it considerably. That is the need of the hour, because the younger children should not be pressurized too much. Even when the school reopens, it should not be too much burden on the parents, on the student. Yes, we need to save the year. We do not want a zero session to happen, because Indians are too smart to accept that we call it a zero session. At the same time, without pressurizing the parent or the student, we have to, compress the syllabus in such a way so that when this child goes to the next academic session, the child is well equipped for that course also, which means alternate year. Because if you see the syllabus is planned in the alternate year fashion. So alternate, because by the time the third year comes, you'll have enough time to bridge the gap.
Yes.
So right now, that planning of the syllabus at the elementary level is very, very important, and for which teacher has to put in a lot of effort, and it has to be a collective team effort, and they have to zero down on the topic which need to be taught online, and then certain topics which when you meet the students you have to teach, and in case you don't meet, then what will be the alternative to that, how you can reduce that also. So this is how something planning is.
Yeah, so already government has announced that from 6 to 12 they have reduced the topics, they have reduced the content of syllabus. Similarly, like schools can also do the same from nursery to grade 5. They can also reduce. They can also reduce so that it's easy for students and easy for teachers as well to cover up the syllabus online through online teaching. And what I feel is that areas where online facility is not available, there also through different medium like phone is there, or we can select few topics which can actually be covered through phones and through other medium. That can also be done, so that this is not a zero year. The zero session is not, this year is not considered as a zero session. This is what even I feel the same. So thank you so much, Rupali ma'am. Thanks a lot for addressing this issue. And now I just want each one of you to come up with your questions. There is a chat box. Please write your questions that you want to ask. We have Rupali ma'am, who is the principal of Renowned School. We have Shivani ma'am.
Wait. I am not yet principal. I am vice principal. Still
it's
the
okay,
vice.
Ma'am, we are teachers here. So you are here to address the issue. So you are, even though the post is whatever the post may be, but the experience speaks aloud. So your experience is beyond our abilities. So I definitely feel that you are in touch with those people who are actually building this structure right now, or developing the structure in which we are just a small part. So for that particular reason, I feel that you'll be very helpful, and Shivani ma'am also will be very helpful. And even this is for everyone. If you feel that you can speak and you can address this issue, so you are all invited. And if you want to ask something from someone, so you can just raise your hand and go for it. We are here to find the solution, what can be done. Let's see if, I'm sure definitely at the end of the session, we are going to feel relaxed and we'll be comfortably sleeping that yes, our queries are resolved. So yes, Mr. Fedlis is here. He is having many queries and he's waiting anxiously. So Mr. Fedlis, you can just ask what all your doubts you have.
Mm,
And please tell something about yourself.
okay. Because most of the students whom I have taught last year were eagerly waiting. They are asking again when the school starts. Of course, I am not in the administrative to take decision. Of course, because unless, but some of the students are really eager and waiting and asking. So that makes me really, I'm in between the things. And on the other hand, the administrations, the management has not yet taken any decision. And we are just kept in, things have been just postponed. So I don't know, means they are telling maybe in the month of August or September, and still online classes also they have just begun for the 10th and 9th, and just only English and mathematics. Then slowly they may try to adopt. That's what they were just telling. But all the other teachers, really, it's don't know what to do. There's a lot of gap, and but whereas some other schools, they have my sister who is also working in ICSE in Mumbai. For them, they have started, means they are doing like online classes. At least some the lessons have been like video.
Yeah,
They
Mr.
have,
Fitlis, here also, if I talk about specifically per se in Delhi, we are also running online classes. The
yeah.
issue is coming where, like in certain areas where the accessibility is not there. So definitely there is a concern. So I would here ask Poonam ma'am, Poonam Miss Poonam Chopra. She is here with us, and she is working in an NGO where she is taking care of many ladies and children, and she teaches them various skilled jobs. So Poonam ma'am, is there any solution to this problem? Do you think we can find a solution where in certain areas we don't have accessibility, online accessibility of internet, or we don't have the gadgets which should be there with people who wants to learn and continue their education? So are you with me, Poonam Didi? I guess she is not here right now. Okay. Anyways, anybody who wants to speak on this, if you feel that yes, there is some solution to this problem, that many areas, they are not at all accessible, they don't have internet. Yes. So my brother is also raising a question. He also wants to ask a question. So I'll move to his question also later. Okay, so nobody is having a solution to this as we don't have accessibility in certain areas.
So Dimple, regarding the accessibility, of course, that is the reason why government is trying to, provide resources through the TV channels, through the Doordarshan TV channels. So that is one area that they are trying to cover up with. And regarding the gadgets, so what probably can be done, as you were mentioning about the NGO. So I think the ones who are having, like what we do is that we generally use mobiles for some times, and then we change it over, buy another one, and the other handset is just kept like that. So maybe people can start donating the instruments that we are not using. So maybe through various NGOs, we can provide them to the students who would really need it. And a few of the NGOs have already started doing this kind of work. They are collecting, and in fact, we at DD Goenka also had sent letters to various branches, had sent letters to their parents and had requested them that in case they have the laptops or the iPads or the mobile phones which they are not using right now and would like to donate it, they can donate it for the EWS students who are there in our schools and things like that. So such kind of initiatives can definitely be taken.
Yeah, Dimple, can I say something? Because there was some technical error and I was unable to unmute myself.
It's okay. It's okay. Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Poonam Chopra. I work for 20 years in DPS. And 3 years back, because of my medical problem, I started my own venture. Okay, as far as I was listening to one of the who was telling about that she's in Jharkhand, problem of everybody's not tech savvy. Now what government is coming up now, the I am on the other side of the things because I'm working very closely with the government. In Jharkhand and in Madhya Pradesh, government has given this online their own satellite thing to one of a very big company who is going to take online classes, and they're going to teach even the teachers and make them a tech savvy. And we have taken their PDF files of their curriculum, of their syllabus, and going to start it very soon. Because they don't have the gadgets and they don't have the smartphones either, and the government is thinking on those lines. So we have asked the data from the hello.
Yes, yes, you are
Yeah,
audible.
yeah, we have asked the data from how many students and how many smart labs to be incorporated in the schools. So very soon the government has pitched in lot of money in the Jharkhand. I'm talking about Jharkhand and the Madhya Pradesh. So of course they will enrich the teachers who are not tech savvy and update them on the about how to go with the online classes. Yes,
I'm
and
there
they
for
also
that, don't worry.
yeah. Yeah.
Poonam ma'am, one more thing. So is it for the public schools like the government schools, or is it
No,
for
I'm talking
the
about the government school.
government
I'm,
schools?
I'm
I
talking
was
about the
talking
government
about
school
the,
because the
you
government.
know, yeah, I was actually into the CBSE and ICSE, all the kind of school that we have. So in spite being, having smartphones and laptops at home, they, like I have few couple of teachers
Yeah.
who refuse to, do it on themselves. Like, we had sessions with the Dimple on Google Forms, which again we incorporated for our kids for their assessment. Teachers were not ready to even try a hands on it. Okay, let's we'll fix up one person who would do the entire Google Forms and they'll be sending it.
Ma'am, see, when the government has given some kind of a guidelines, they have to follow. The teachers who are in the payroll of the government will do it. So it has been a
Right.
strict, and they don't want to consider this session as the blank and the black session.
Yeah, right.
So anyhow, we have been asked to give the data to as many how many smart labs in the school to be required. So the social distancing to be maintained. So we are keeping in mind all these things as well. A very, very big project of somewhere 700 to 800 crore has been given to a very big company of a software solutions of Bangalore. So I'm sure they will, because the government wants to give the online classes. How will they do it? Of course, they will give the technical knowledge to the teachers as well as how to do it.
Not so. So
Thank you.
actually, Dimple, I actually raised my hand some time back. I believe some other speaker was there. So
Okay.
I wanted to share a couple of incidents that are happening in and around my school. Since there's a delayed payment in us on the couple of schools might be. So there is this teacher in our school who's the only soul and whole earning member of a family, and obviously she would be having some problems. So in spite of all this, so we all have contributed our part of our savings to her, and as a part of our gesture to help her. So this is what we have done, seeing the kind of late paycheck coming into the place. And so this was one. And another thing what I was wondering, like we have our assessments happening in our school right now. So in spite of other tools that are available, like I teach primary classes to a very larger extent. I take classes 1, 2, and 3 as well. So here in our place, assessment is going on, as in we share the question paper in the WhatsApp group that we have created, and the kids are sending in a PDF format, and then we are asked to edit that entire thing and do the checking. So don't you think it's tiresome, and then you're, you know, taking a toll of a teacher like that, and you're actually, you know, like slaving, you know, you're treating us like a slave just because we are teachers.
Definitely, definitely. I can understand because each and every teacher is going through the same. This is the
Yes.
first time, and I won't say that only teachers are suffering. I would rather say that yes, the management, school management is
Yes.
also trying their level best to address certain issues which teachers are facing, or even parents. If we
Right.
start talking about parents, parents are also struggling because
Right.
they are handling their children. They have to teach half of the things to their children who are sitting next to the internet, next to the laptop. They are not able to handle those gadgets properly. So of course the problem is for each one of us.
Yes.
What we have to do is we
Hello.
have, yeah, yes ma'am.
Uh, I would like to just add a few points here. See, it always happens that drastic situations, they call for drastic measures. So but right now, I know that teachers are feeling very overworked and, you know, overpressed with a lot of demands. But so is the situation. We have never seen this kind of drastic situation earlier. So obviously, it is requiring drastic steps from your side also, from us also. So any teacher who feels that she's overworked, so it is the situational demand and it will improve. So these times will not remain so. They will improve. So right now, number one, yes, we have to take that extra mile in order to combat the present situation. And number two, we have to, you know, be computer savvy. There is no two way about it. Pandemic uh, is happening now. Otherwise, you know, long back, this was the demand of the of our profession has been that we have to be very innovative and we have to adopt all kind of changes which are happening with the education industry, and being computer savvy is one of them. So one has to, you know, put in extra effort to learn, unlearn lot of things, and we have to be very dynamic in our approach. There is no two way about it, and for which we really have to toil hard. So that is this, I mean, that situation demands and we have to abide by that.
So here, just want to interrupt. I'm so sorry. Is it possible that because parents are not paying, all the parents are not paying because they feel that if they are paying 7 to 8,000 or 6,000 rupees as tuition fees, that is also not sufficient, and the amount they feel is more as compared to the expenses which the schools are bearing right now, because online classes are going on. They are not using the land, the area is not used, AC and other things which are not being used, so the expenditure would be less. This is what parents feel, and that's why they are not paying the fees. So is there a possibility that if we try to finalize an amount which should be paid by each and every parent, like if I'm saying 3,000 is the amount, if I calculate as per a group of students, like grade 6 has 5 sections, and in those 5 sections, in every section we have 30, so let's say 300 students are there. So in those sections, 300 students, they are paying 2,000 rupees, including the expenses which the school is facing. So those 2,000 or 3,000 parent has to pay, so that we are able to bear the cost of teacher salary, because teacher salary is also uniform in most of the schools. We are paying as per 6th or 7th, whatever pay commission.
Right.
But most of the schools are paying uniform. There is a uniformity in the salary. So if this can be done, that each and every parent is supposed to pay this amount, so that we can bear the expenses of teachers' salary and other areas like drivers, because they're also suffering. As nobody is using transport, they are not getting the salary. So can something like this be the solution here?
Dimple, before addressing this question, I think I have something to say for the previous question that the lady had asked about the assessments. You know, she said that she is teaching primary classes, grade 1, 2, and 3, and they are having assessments where the children are submitting the PDF documents which need to be converted into Word, corrected, and sent. So I was wondering that why is it that the assessment in subjective form has been taken for these classes, the assessments can be taken in the form of formative assessments. Why is it that this kind of an assessment, cities like Delhi, I don't know from
No,
which
she
city
is
she
not from Delhi, ma'am. She's from Jharkhand. That's why the problem is there. Teachers
so,
are not ready
so
to work on new softwares.
no, it
Right.
is not about the softwares. It is about the assessment. See, there are three different kinds of assessments: the assessment as learning, the assessment of learning, and the assessment for learning. And right now, looking at the conditions, I think the assessment as learning, which is diagnostic in nature, and the assessment of learning, the assessment for learning, these two assessments, that is the diagnostic and the formative assessments, need to be taken while the teacher is interacting, whether on Zoom platform or Google Meet or whichever platform. There could be a lot of activities that could be done, a lot of questions could be asked, a lot of performances can be done by the students, which can be utilized as you can have a lot of parameters on which the students can be marked, right? Instead of taking the written assessments, maybe the MCQs are also there. So I think the assessment as learning and the assessment for learning is more important than doing the assessment of learning. So I think this is something which needs to be looked upon at all the stages, in all the cities, everywhere, because it is, very, very helpful for students as well, for parents as well, and everybody. So I think the assessment system needs to be really looked at.
Shivani ma'am,
Yes,
I'm going to contact you for this. I will take a session with you. We'll learn all the types of assessment, the techniques, and Harshita, I'm going to pass on to you, and I'm sure we all are going to get aligned with that.
Definitely,
Definitely need one.
In fact, in my last webinar where I was one of the panelists. So the topic itself was movement from content to competencies and revamping the assessment system. So I think that is the need of the hour. There is no two-way pandemic or no pandemic. I think our assessment system needs to change. We need to incorporate a lot of project-based learning. We need to incorporate a lot of integrated learning. And out of when we are incorporating all of that, at that point in time, while teaching itself, we are assessing the children. So that's a a no burden assessment that needs to be brought into the system now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shivani ma'am. So Meenu is here. She also wants to ask a question. So Meenu, would you like to share, or would you like to ask the query that you have? Are you there, Meenu? Although I have already asked a question, so I have given my viewpoint.
Addressing your question that you were talking about the fees and the expenses. So salaries are not the only expenses that the school is bearing. The school is bearing a lot of other fixed costs. Okay, the school might have taken loan against the land. The school might have taken the loan against the infrastructure. So there could be a lot of things, they might be paying the EMIs to the banks or to the society from where they have taken soft loans or things like that. So there are a lot of other expenses that the school would be maintaining. If we talk about the buses, though the buses are not flying, but then they would require an expenditure of getting serviced at particular intervals of time. The buses need to be started so that the batteries are not going down. So there are a lot of other things which are involved. So it is not just the salaries of the teaching staff or the drivers and conductors, but a lot of other things also that go into calculation of the costs that are incurred. So hence, it would be suggestive that all the managements probably take out these costs and can divide it into the number of students they have in the schools. And I think most of the managements are giving that kind of provision to the parents. As in, if I talk about my school, we have given them the provision that, okay, you can pay the tuition fees on monthly basis. We are not taking any late fees. The government has given us the directives. We are already following those directives. No late fees is being charged. And the parents, if they are not able to pay the fees, they have been asked to pay the fees on a monthly basis. Now that the government has said that even the annual fees can be taken, so that there also we are not asking for the entire year's annual fees from the parents, but we are saying that they can pay it on a quarterly basis. So I think managements, but then of course there would be some managements who would be very stringent about these, but then I think the managements are also being sympathetic and empathetic towards parents as well. And it is time for the parents to also understand this thing and be empathetic towards the school.
So, ma'am, like whatever fees parents are paying, so can you tell me the percentage? How much percentage is there of parents who are paying fees to schools? What is the percentage?
There is a minimal percentage. It is very difficult to say. It varies from school to school. But as far as my discussion goes with a lot of other principals of other schools, I have not come across that more than 20% parents would have paid. You know, it is that low, and that is the reason managements are cutting down on salaries on for the teachers and all. No management would feel happy to cut down the costs, cut down the paychecks of teachers. But then they are also, and specifically for those schools which are new, like for example, my school. So this is the second session of Giri Goenka, Bahadurgarh, and we do not have the corpus. When we do not have the corpus, how is it that the management would be in a position to pay complete salaries? So see, there is an economic slowdown in all the industries. You name any industry, there is this economic slowdown, which is going to take time for sure, maybe 6 months or 8 months to revive. Fortunately or unfortunately, education industry is also one of them. But we still have, unlike of the other industries like hospitality, when we talk about hotel industry, when we talk about aviation industry, we are not that badly hit.